Well everyone, the OnePlus 11 is one of the more interesting phones OnePlus has made this year. I'm not even really too sure what they were doing here. I feel like they could have probably done a little bit of a better job, but let's go and see how this phone holds up in the middle part of 2023. Now, first of all, this phone on the front has a pretty decent 6.7-inch LTPO3 Fluid AMOLED display, and it's a decent panel. You know, it's actually not bad. It's 120 Hz. It gets fairly bright, which is nice, and I think it's a good panel. I like how it's a hole punch display, and there's something about the top left hole punch displays that some of these phones have that actually make them look pretty cool, and that's something I really do like about it. It's not like a perfect type of display, but I do think, OnePlus did a good job here, and there's not a crazy amount of things to complain about here. Now we're getting USB Type-C on the bottom, which is predictable, and on the back, we're getting this frosted glass back, which feels and looks very, very good, and we're also getting this kind of like triple camera setup, which is really nice. And I think overall, this whole entire phone setup, the way it looks, the way it feels, it's actually pretty good. It definitely feels like a very premium phone. We're getting wireless charging, which is nice. And it looks like apparently we're not even getting wireless charging on this phone, which is pretty insane. We'll talk about that later. But I do think overall, this is a very good looking phone, and it still feels and looks very good, about a few months after it's been released and announced. Now, in terms of the camera setup, like I said, triple camera setup, this camera on this phone really wasn't that good, if I can just be completely honest with you. You're getting 8K capability on the back, which is really nice, but you're only getting 1080p at 30 on the front, which is very weird. How can OnePlus turn around and make a phone like this, of this type of caliber, this type of quality, but be so limited in this way? I really don't know why OnePlus did this, and I feel like they could have done a little bit of a better job when it came down to this specific, camera. I feel like they spent all this money on this camera. They could be doing a way better job in that specific perspective. They haven't yet, but that's just one thing that kind of, comes down in this specific way too. Now, in terms of software, we're getting Oxygen OS, which is, I think, getting better now, aka Color OS. That's basically what we're on. And I just do think, in my opinion, this has been one of the weirdest changes of any phone manufacturer ever. As other phone manufacturer softwares are getting better and better, OnePlus's is kind of dipped down way below, but now it's kind of coming back up. I hope they end up doing a better job in the future. But again, what are we going to do? There's not much we can do about it. We're just going to have to live with the software that we're on. So this wouldn't be the reason I wouldn't buy this phone, but it would not be the reason why I would buy this phone, unlike 2-3 years ago, where it would probably be a big factor where I would want to buy a OnePlus phone because of the software. Now, in terms of performance, we're getting the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset inside with 8 gigs of RAM on the base model, but it goes all the way up to 16 gigabytes of RAM if you really want to. And that's a really cool thing you have in this phone. You have a lot of capability and flexibility, whether you want a phone that has a lot of power, it's going to have a lot of power regardless. That chipset is really strong. But in my opinion, for me testing this device, I really wasn't getting that good of a performing phone from this thing. And I even updated this phone, I restarted it, and I was still getting the same type of performance, which was very weird. I feel like OnePlus personally, again, could have done a little bit of a better job somehow tuning this hardware with the software. I just find it really weird that we were still getting that kind of weird performance from this type of device. And I did so many speed tests, so many battery comparisons, and I was getting some really, really weird throttling, and I don't really understand what was going on, but hopefully OnePlus ends up fixing it, because that really was not a good experience. So in terms of that, what I'll tell you is I probably wouldn't be the first one to recommend the OnePlus 11. I would probably recommend buying something like a Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra in the used market, a brand new S23 Ultra, a Google Pixel 7 Pro. Those types of devices are going to be way better. I don't really even see why anybody would want to buy this phone as of now, because the competition is just so much better. Even an iPhone 14 Pro Max or 13 Pro Max is better than this thing. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.